KSC presents. When New York cops investigated the home of two hoarders, they made a stomach-churning discovery. It's March 1947 in New York City, and police are struggling to gain entry into a Manhattan house. They start in the foyer, but there's an impenetrable barrier of trust blocking the path. An enterprising patrolman finally breaks an upstairs window to climb inside. But it will take much longer to expose all of the house's secrets. And they are about to find something much worse than junk inside the property. The house in Harlem was the dwelling of two brothers called Langley and Homer Collier. And to say that these two men were hoarders would be an understatement. It was almost impossible to move through the home because of all the junk. Homer was blind and being cared for by his brother, but both men were recluses. Their isolation only got worse as the years went on, and the amount of junk increased. Furthermore, it wasn't until an anonymous caller warned that a sinister smell was coming from inside the house that cops decided to enter and find out just what the men were hiding. But to trace the origin of the Collier brothers story, we have to go back to the 19th century. Dr. Herman Livingston was a wealthy gynecologist with some strange habits. And he raised a few eyebrows when he married his opera singer cousin Susie. Meanwhile, their children Homer and Langley, who were born in 1881 and 1885, respectively, both seemed to be off to a good start in life. Homer later became a lawyer after attending Columbia University, while his brother went to the same school to study engineering. Langley also seemed to have inherited his mother's musical talent, as he would become a concert pianist. The brothers disconnected their phone in 1917. But it wasn't until 2 years later that things started to go wrong for the family. That was the year when Herman Livingston abandoned his family for no apparent reason. The brothers then continued to live with their mother until she died in 1922, leaving them the family home. The Colliers were understandably nervous about the harassment that they received. So they decided to up security in their home to ensure no one could rob them. But the brothers took some bizarre steps. They didn't just board up their windows. The men also apparently started setting booby traps to catch any intruders. Another major event for the Colliers happened in 1933 when Homer went blind after a stroke. Langley was determined to look after his brother and stopped his work buying and selling pianos, so he could be a full-time carer. He thought that the right diet would be enough to restore Homer's eyesight, so he put together a special food plan. According to the New York Sun, the property held 25,000 books by the time police entered, as well as 3 dressmakers' dummies, and an astonishing 14 grand pianos. Really disturbing finds included carefully pickled human organs, stored in various jars. But that wasn't the worst of it. A phone call was made to the 122nd Police Precinct early on March 21, 1947. The anonymous caller told cops that there may have been more than hordes of junk hidden inside the Collier house. They also warned that police should search the building because it smelled like there was a dead body inside. Police had to respond to the call, but it wasn't so easy searching the house. They couldn't even open the front doors, and instead had to leave them right off the hinges, but that didn't help. The foyer was packed solid with boxes, while a similar wall blocked passage to the basement stairs. And it was midday by the time they finally made it through a second-story window and discovered Homer's corpse. Before the cause of Homer's death had been established, however, suspicion fell on Langley. He'd been his brother's only carer, and now there was no sign of him. Within 2 days, 19 tons of junk had been removed. It would be another 5 days and 52 more tons of rubbish before they finally found Langley, just 10 feet from his brother. The hoarder had been caught in one of the many booby traps he'd set to deter intruders, and the authorities estimated that he had died 2 weeks before Homer. Langley's main method of moving through his house had been through tunnels dug through the trash, but they were lined with tripwires. Cops explained to The Sun that Langley may have caught one of these lines, perhaps with the edge of his clothing, and been buried alive under a pile of paper. With his death, Homer had no one to look after him, and he subsequently starved. The removal work continued even after the brothers were found. By the time it was finished, 120 tons of junk had been extracted, and reportedly only $66,000 worth of the once impressive Collier estate remained. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.